Yes. Hawaii 5-0. Call the 5-0. That became like street slang for the police. Compliments of Steve McGarrett. I like the first version of this program much better than the latter version. The original from the 70s. Really, really well done. Anyway, enough of that. Let's come back to the contiguous 48. Mr. Drew Brees. Thank you, sir. Number 9 from his casa in La Jolla. Or is it pronounced La Jolla? La Jolla, California. Corey Johnson with you on an absurdly hot Tuesday afternoon. Be careful out there. Hydrate. Lots of water. H2O. Agua. And do it now. Hydrate up. 97 degrees right now. 97 on the thermometer. Feels like 108. Like dangerous. Getting dangerous. And I mean, depends on where you are. You're out on some asphalt parking lot. It's more than 108. You're in the shade under a tree. The breeze is blowing. That's at least a safe spot. But ideally, get in some air conditioning. There are actually some like places around, at least in Orleans Parish, I'm sure in Jefferson too, St. Tammany, St. Bernard, where life is hard. Like cooling stations, could be a library, a gymnasium, where the air conditioning is cranking. It's 72 degrees. It's cool and comfortable. It's safe. No, get to the shopping mall. Get to the community center. Get to the public library. This is sort of wind down time as far as it's concerned. Like the next hour, 90 minutes or 2 hours, you can call it a day on kind of the extreme heat. And it cranks up around, I don't know, about 9-ish, 9:30 in the morning. By 10 a.m., we're pretty good. We're rolling into this type of stuff we're dealing with right now. That means vulnerable people, the elderly, people that don't have air conditioning that you know that you can help. From around 10 a.m. till about 5 p.m., let's say. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's make sure those folks have a lot of water. Ideally, let's make sure those folks are at the library, the community center, the gym, the shopping mall, somewhere where there is air conditioning if they don't have air conditioning. No, pretty ridiculous. 97 degrees feels like 108. Did I mention water? We're issuing a hydration proclamation. A hydration proclamation. My mom called me mom to the waitress the other day because I said, next time we come, she's getting a small iced tea. My mom and I will go eat and she doesn't even want anything to drink. Not really thirsty. No, you gotta hydrate up. Boy, New Orleans is so corrupt. Criminals in politics, city government, you get rewarded. This Hebert guy stealing from the Sewage and Water Board, back pay, reinstated, promoted. It's just unbelievable. Irvin Mayfield, steal $1.3 million, go away for 11 months, 8 months at Pensacola Country Club prison, 3 months of home arrest, halfway house type of thing. No, it's like crime does pay. Blue collar, white collar, violent criminal. You walk within 24 hours because some judge or magistrate gives some absurdly low bail. Bonding out. How about this Orleans Parish Communications Executive Director that we were talking about yesterday, Tyrell Morris? Cassie Sherm with Channel 6 doing a fantastic job. Accident with the city-owned vehicle, his city vehicle on his birthday. 911 was called. He canceled the call. No NOPD, DWI test, no test by the city. It's part of the standard operating procedure. The operator of a vehicle must take a drug and alcohol test immediately. Altered documents that Cassie Sherm requested, Channel 6 requested. The original document said standard operating procedure is the operator of the vehicle must take a drug and alcohol test immediately. When she requested a copy of that document, added in the front of that sentence was, if injuries are reported, the operator of vehicle must take a drug and alcohol test immediately. If injuries are reported. Slipping that in, altering documents. The council is investigating. Reportedly, the Office of Inspector General is investigating, according to Channel 6. City Council, a letter, Morell to John Thomas, chairman of the Orleans Parish Communications District Board, to 86 this guy immediately. Here's the sad part. Civil service in New Orleans, which really is absurd. It gets to be where it's debilitating for the city and the citizens. Guys like Tyrell Morris can't be fired for just cause, can only be suspended, and usually with pay. So it's a vacation with pay while they figure this thing out. Remember that double-dipping transit executive? Working in Tampa, working in New Orleans, six-figure job. It was a full-time gig, one city or the other. When Tampa found out, and Tampa found out, not New Orleans, or who knows, New Orleans may have already known and looked the other way. Tampa finds out, fires that director immediately. New Orleans finds out, puts that director on paid leave while they investigate. Just a major difference between a well-run city and a insane city like New Orleans. Anyway, the council's hoping that the Orleans Parish Communications District will immediately fire, terminate, investigate, get him off the job, Tyrell Adams. He officially resigned, but not until September. Wants to make a few more months of pay. Yesterday, we talked about that Bear guy at the Sewage and Water Board and others, payroll fraud, and with no repercussions. This Bear guy's just getting away with it. A secret sex room at the Sewage and Water Board. Wow. Really? Really? LSU wins the national championship in college baseball, doing to Florida almost exactly what the Gators did to the Tigers in game 2. You remember that game? I know, distant memory, 24-4, 18-4 last night. Just like almost everything, 24 hits, a late homer by Florida, like LSU had a late homer against Florida that just was meaningless to go from 3 to 4 runs. It was the same game. Just better results, huh? 6-8 weeks ago, Kim Mulkey's Lady Tigers taking home the national championship. 7th national title for LSU men's baseball team. Number 2 all time. USC has more with 12. And that was in the Rod Dedeaux pre-college World Series, 70s and 80s. There were like 8 teams competing in baseball back then. No one was competing. The real champs of college baseball, really history of the entire shooting match with legitimate teams, actual programs that exist and are trying to compete and win. LSU is the team. So many contributors, so many stars, so many players with talent, passion, desire, just everyone contributing in that lineup. Great coaching by Jay Johnson. 18-4, 24 hits, LSU national champions in college baseball. Unbelievable. What a great 8-day run for LSU baseball. What a great week and a half for LSU fans, getting to watch all those baseball games, taking care of so many quality teams. What a week. Could have been enjoying it at Katie's on one of their many large big screen TVs. Katie's in Mid-City, as New Orleans as it gets. Yeah, why aren't you at Katie's right now? The perfect wind down after work place. Like right now, sit at the bar, then maybe have your husband, the wife, come on over and you have dinner at Katie's. Katie's in Mid-City, a Mid-City mainstay. Why aren't you at Katie's right now?
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Every Friday, Michael Heck joins us from Greater New Orleans, Inc. That segment's always brought to you by Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, born, bred, based out of New Orleans. About 1,400 employees in Harahan, and they're hiring. They got a few hundred on the North Shore, their I-12 facility, and they're hiring dozens and dozens and dozens of job opportunities at Latrim. Go to their website for a full listing of positions available, latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday. 97 degrees, feels like 108. Stay hydrated. Hey, Eric Hessler is with us this afternoon, attorney for PANO. How you doing, Eric?
Good afternoon, Corey. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
No problem.
Hey, what's PANO, the union for the NOPD?
We're one of the police associations. We represent police officers and civilian NOPD employees. We're the only association that represents civilian employees of the NOPD. We represent them with employee disputes, pay and salary and working conditions, and disciplinary actions, and whatever else comes along. And unfortunately, it seems to be a never-ending story of problems.
Yep, it really is. How many folks do you guys represent?
About 600.
600. So
Yes, sir.
So not all NOPD officers are part of PANO?
No. They got two other associations. They got the Fraternal Order of Police, and they have the Black Organization of Police. And they actually have another union that represents other civilians within city government.
And then there's some cops that are part of
the city just passed. Yeah, and there's some cops that are not part of any. Some are part of all three. And they just passed. The city council just passed an ordinance allowing employees to organize under unions. So that'll be an issue in the near future.
Anything that one union's fighting for police, it doesn't just get passed for their group; it gets passed for all police, right?
Yeah, of course. And we I think PANO is pretty much taking the forefront of actually taking the fight to the city on most issues, because it seems to be the only way we can get progress. It doesn't seem like reason and rationale or anything else makes a difference. You got to fight them for everything, including what's needed and deserved.
Yep. Eric, how long have you been an attorney for PANO?
Well, I was a New Orleans police officer for 17 years, and I went to law school at night. And,
wow.
And when I came into the bar, I left the NOPD after 17 years, and so it's been 22 years now I've been representing. I got a private criminal defense practice as well as representing Police Association of New Orleans.
So 40 years of NOPD.
38 years.
Yeah, 17 and 22,
yeah.
38, 39, 40, somewhere right in that neighborhood. Sorry, getting up there in age, Eric.
20. Yeah, no kidding.
All right, 17 years as an NOPD officer, 22 years as a attorney with PANO. What do you remember when you were a cop those 17 years? Generally speaking, how many cops on the force? Do you remember numbers back then? Was it ever talked about?
When I came on, yeah, sure. It was always an issue. When I came on in 1985, we had 60 people in our academy class, and they probably had two classes a year. So
you're bringing in like 120 cops a year?
Yeah. And out of those 60, I think 52 graduated or something like that.
Wow.
And you didn't have And I think the police department at that time I came on was probably almost 1,500, 1480, something like that.
Wow.
I left in 2001, and we were probably just near 1,300, maybe, but times have changed in all aspects.
In your opinion, is the NOPD under 900 officers right now?
Yeah, I believe PANO did a count amongst our resources, our own resources. We came up with like 878, maybe 872, 878, and that's living, breathing buddies. Some of those persons are assigned to administrative duties. Some are out sick with long-term sicknesses that may or may not ever come back. So probably 750 working cops, and on any given day, over 3 shifts over the entire city, probably half or more of those officers aren't patrol officers. So yeah, you're looking at very, very low numbers on officers actually patrolling the streets, trying to make a difference.
So
serve the public.
Maybe like a few hundred patrol officers, in your opinion, 200-300 tops.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, sometimes you have two patrol cars on the street in a district. Sometimes you might have 3. Sometimes you might have 1. And sometimes you have to borrow from other districts if a car goes 10-7 or goes out of service for whatever the reason. Maybe they're at the hospital with a suspect, or it's very problematic for the public and for the police officers that we represent. That's dangerous.
Well, they might be getting a new car with new tires and rims. So it should be about 500 to maybe 700 patrol cops instead of 200 to 300. Is that a good guesstimate?
Yeah, the way that the department is organized.
Yep.
I would, it would pretty much be about half in patrol. Maybe half in the other specialized divisions and stuff. But they haven't, because of the low manpower numbers. You'd think they would have addressed that ratio, and it doesn't seem like they're inclined to do so for some reason.
We're visiting with Eric Hessler. He's an attorney for PANO, one of the police unions. Hey, Eric, speaking of police, Tyrell Morris is an NOPD officer, this guy who runs the OPCD for the mayor?
No, he is not.
He's not an NOPD officer?
No, to my knowledge, he has no law enforcement experience whatsoever, to my knowledge.
I just see a uniform and a badge.
Well, we have dog catchers with uniforms and badges.
No,
mosquito control officers. But no, I wasn't being.
No, I'm with you. No, you're right. No, security guards, all that stuff.
Yeah.
This guy with the accident on his birthday, 911 was called. He canceled the 911 call. No NOPD DWI test taken. No test by the city. That's not really a police matter. Altered documents. This thing just keeps growing and growing and growing. You have any take on that?
The cancellation. Well, the cancellation of the call, I think in and of itself would depending on how, at what point it was done, it would pretty much insulate the police officers from doing something. They can't ascertain what's going on a call. They can't ascertain the condition of a driver if they're never dispatched to do so. And that's what appears that happened here. Now, of course, all the rest of it is very problematic, in my opinion, on how the protocol, how things should be handled, the lengths that it appears that he went to make sure it wasn't handled at all. That's concerning.
What about, wouldn't it be police officers saying, someone calling them and telling them that, let me start over again. I'm assuming Tyrell Morris called someone that called police to tell them to, hey, cancel the 911 call. Would that be accurate, or no? It could have been done at the call center.
Yeah, it more likely than not was done at the call center. That's the way I assumed it happened, and that's how I would have done it. If I'm in charge of the call center, why would I drag some low-ranking police officer into it?
And then the police are just called off of that 911 call, which is kind of routine.
It's very routine, and that's if it in fact was a 911 call. You know as well as I do, if you call the police or you call the call center on an accident without injury, you're going to be there for a while. And it's so common that citizens are there for such a long time that they both decide, hey, let's exchange information and go on my business, and the call is canceled. That's routine. So it wouldn't spark any interest of the police if an accident call was canceled.
Hey, Eric, when we come back, can I talk to you about Officer Vappie, this consent decree, the mayor reinstating this policeman to the detail, the PIB report? Can we discuss that?
Sure.
Great. Eric Hessler's with us, attorney for PANO. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Leidenheimer French bread has been with you since 1896, New Orleans, still baked here in New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitive prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe, in the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
PANO attorney Eric Hessler is with us on the neutral ground. Corey Johnson with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, Eric, before we get into the consent decree, when we talk about those dwindling numbers, you said 750 or so working cops, maybe 200 or 300 patrolling, 870 something total. Well, under 900, or about 60% of what it should be, around 1,500. The dwindling numbers, Eric, how do you stop it? How do you reverse it? And can you build it back up to 1,500 in any kind of a short period of time? Is that realistic? And if not, what do you do till you do build it back up to 1,500?
Well, I don't think it's realistic that it can be done. Certainly can't be done in a short period of time. And I think what needs to be done, or one of the things that needs to be done, is it's got to be an environment, working environment, and a police department where new officers would want to start a career, and where the officers that started a career wanted to continue, and then you got to retain the officers that are here, and we haven't been able to do a good job with that, because the working environment. Let's face it, the working environment of law enforcement across the country has changed over the years, and specifically the last 4 or 5 years. But we're seeing a comeback in other cities. I think you're having a problem here is because these officers see the political shenanigans that are going on. They see that the police department is not being run correctly, and it's not being run correctly primarily because the people that are appointed to lead it don't have a say-so, it appears.
It's you're a pawn working for the mayor or the council, or appointed, anointed, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and for the average police officer on the street, they're not going to normally run into those. They're low-level officers. They shouldn't be involved in political patronage or anything else. But it happens for a bunch of reasons, and it shouldn't happen. What
happened?
All the time.
What happened?
Well, that officers are treated differently because of whether it be factions, whether it be whatever the whim of the consent decree is. That 1 month they're focused on one type of behavior, the next month they're focused on the other type, and you got a PIB that's willing to jump through the hoops to make sure that they feed the consent decree machine. We got these guys. We got so many guys on illegal search and seizures this month. So hopefully y'all are content with that and check the box there. it's not conducive to police work. Now, don't get me wrong. There was definitely things that needed to be changed within the NOPD, and needed to be changed from the 80s to the 90s to 2001 when I left, and then after Katrina. But there's such a thing as too much of a good thing, and I think the consent decree is way overreaching from what it was intended to address.
Overreaching or too long of a time period now, or both?
Well, I think it's overreaching, and because of that, the time period continues.
The time period continues because it's overreaching. Now, if it weren't,
they keep moving the goal line and moving the post, and they're making money while they do it. So why would they want it to end? Why would the consent decree monitors want it to end?
No. I got, but also the flip side of it is when you have this what was it, the PIB investigation into Vappie, that it was garbage. It's considered terrible, considered not viable, considered biased, considered easy on Vappie. He gets reinstated. He gets reinstated to the mayor's detail. That situation just looks terrible. And the consent decree, I don't know how you can, how the feds would back off of that with that kind of going down. Like what should the federal monitor do, Eric, when that kind of situation is still happening? It seems like a police department that's still a little out of control.
In a sense, it is in that sense, but this investigation with the mayor and Officer Vappie and the way it was handled, unfortunately, has been occurring for years with PIB, and for years PANO would complain, and for years I would go and have to point out these biased investigations, and nobody wanted to listen, and nobody would listen. And the consent decree monitors, as long as police officers were getting hung for doing whatever it is they thought they was wrong, they didn't seem to care. But now that it becomes something which is overtly political, and now that the city, the mayor herself is fighting the consent decree, all of a sudden they take notice. And this thing should have been addressed. PIB should have been addressed years ago, and it wasn't. And now they've pretty much got to live with the monster they created.
Yeah, it seems like you have a tough fight, Eric. I kind of understand what you're saying, but it's sort of like you're caught in a catch-22. You have a dysfunctional mayor. You have, it appears, correct me if I'm wrong, dysfunction within the NOPD, exacerbated by the consent decree going a little too far, maybe with overreach. I don't know. How do you get to the goal line?
That's a good question, and that's the. I think if the mayor would have left it up to the police leadership to do their job and work through it, maybe that we would have seen some success.
Are there just some overt restrictions? The overreach, Eric, are there some that are just overt that are a major problem? No pun intended, handcuffing the police. Is there a way to address those overreach where the approach would be, hey, we don't want off of the consent decree. We want these overreach things removed. Then we can prove to you that you can remove the consent decree. Is that a possibility, that kind of approach?
Well, it is if it was going to be acceptable to certain groups and certain persons. Our use of force policy, for example, is more restrictive than the Constitution allows. So you can do something an officer can do something that's completely justified in protection of their life, their very life, and it's completely lawful. It's constitutional, and other departments can do it. And if you do that, if an officer here in New Orleans does that, it's very likely they're going to be written up for violating the use of force policy.
No, this sort of attitude like you guys are on probation. It's not good when you're fighting crime, is it? No,
it's certainly not. It's not good for crime fighting tactics. And the department tends to shy away from aggressive policing because it's almost impossible to do under the restrictions. And on one hand, you get the police officers that see the need for it, that they want to do it, and they want to do it constitutionally, and yet they're constantly being dragged into PIB, suspended, in some cases terminated, and then we have to fight those battles, and very often we're successful. But in the meantime, the officer's career is halted, sometimes ended, and oftentimes police officers just say, I'm not even going to do police work in the city, or I'll still remain wearing the uniform, but I'm not going to do a whole lot of police work, which is not good for anybody. No one.
Hey, Eric, just a broad question. Elected or appointed chief? There just seems to be pros and cons for both sides.
There is. There's certainly pros and cons for both sides. I don't think we've ever had an elected chief. I know we never had an elected chief in my 40-year history. I don't believe we've ever had one under the Home Rule Charter. But is it time to reconsider that? What could it hurt?
Well, the policeman becomes a politician too. Has to play a dual role, which is fine. You were a cop and a lawyer, so I mean, you played a dual role. You could be a cop and own a snowball stand. You could be a cop, and so you got to be a politician. And then you're limiting the pool to citizens of New Orleans only.
But you're also answering to the citizens' cry for crime control,
and an independent cop that doesn't answer to a mayor.
Right. If you're the chief of police and your focus is crime control, you don't have to. You do what you do to control the criminal element. You don't have to do it based on how the mayor says do it. You don't have to do it based on the mayor's whim or anything else. You do it because it's the right thing to do. You do it the right way, and you attack the criminal element.
Yep. Yeah, you don't have any worries.
And if you don't, you don't get reelected.
No, and in some places like Jefferson Parish, the sheriff, the police chief, more powerful than the mayor or president politically. And then in New Orleans, it's weird. We elect the sheriff. Maybe we should elect the police chief and anoint the sheriff. Eric, we're coming right back. Don't move, New Orleans.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Eric Hessler's with us, the attorney for PANO. Eric, do you guys have any say, any input, anyone talking with you guys about the police chief's search?
No, not really. Not any meaningful conversations. You know.
Wow.
That's being kept pretty close to their vest right now.
Do you guys have any opinion on that? The national firm that's looking into it?
No, we just hope everybody's going into it with a good faith effort to do the best thing for the city and the department.
Any opinion on how the present chief is doing? Is she a PANO member?
I don't know. She used to be, and I think I don't think we don't have any qualms with what she's doing. It just seems that she can't do what she wants to do in many instances. I would hope that's the case. That I don't think that she's made some of the decisions in regards to some of the recent events, and if she did, I think she's going to have to explain them. And if there's a good explanation, well, then there you go. And if there's not, well, then I guess the question should be asked.
What would some of the recent events be?
Well, the PIB investigation into Vappie. I find it a little difficult to. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I find it a little difficult to believe that that's the type of quality of the investigation and the decisions made on assignments and reassignments, because that does raise some questions, I think, in the minds of almost anyone.
Yep. Hey, Eric, the police monitor, You guys are for or against that? What do you think of that office? Is it being run right?
I think that under the circumstances, a monitor is not even necessary because we've gone to the monitor and with problems such as PIB in the past, and the response is essentially, well, all we can do is monitor, and we don't need another paid spectator to what's going on if they can't do anything about it.
No, I think that office should have stayed under the Office of Inspector General. Should have never broke off from that. I think it's a political office, personally. I don't think it's a fair, objective office that's supposed to come in there and just investigate, audit, see what's going on.
They don't have investigative powers. They just monitor and report.
That's well said. They don't have investigative powers, nor do they have any investigative experience.
Right. They don't have the capabilities. They don't have the resources.
Nope.
And I've gone to the monitors. I've gone to the AG's office. I've gone to the Inspector General's office. And they simply seems like they want to take on some of the problems that obviously exist and obviously need to be corrected.
Yep. May have to go to the ethics board. Hey, can the NOPD, can you guys at PANO, working with the NOPD, representing the NOPD, can you do anything to convince these hyper woke judges and magistrates to issue proper or appropriate bail, Eric?
That's really a little bit outside of our scope. Our scope is mainly to take care of the officers, make sure their working conditions are fair, make sure that they're getting the resources they need to do their jobs. And
It just sucks when they do. It just sucks when they do their job, and the next day the violent criminals flipping them off walking down the street. It's just because their bail's $250 to get out, and it's a violent crime against policemen in some instances.
And when if it's something that directly affects the police officer's safety or the safety of the police officer, the profession of police officers in general in New Orleans, we'll certainly raise that fight. But for the everyday bond settings and the way that judiciary conducts itself, that's above our pay grade. We have enough to worry about with the police officers in general.
Anything you'd want to mention that maybe we've missed or you want to put out there?
No, I think that PANO has certainly been fighting with the administration for 50 years. Sometimes it's fighting over things that are a benefit to the officers, but lately it's the last several years, probably last decade, it's a public crisis. The way the NOPD and the officers that work under the NOPD are facing.
And what is that public crisis?
Well, crime is continuing to escalate. The ability for the officers to address crime is deteriorating. The amount of police officers that are left on the job to serve and protect is dwindling, and it's all because of a whole conglomeration of problems that seemingly go unaddressed and uncorrected.
In about 20 seconds, and I know that's a tough way to do it, just give us some of the big ones that need to be corrected.
The consent decree and the restrictions put on the officers' ability to do their jobs. These officers, we got a lot of young officers, a lot of new officers, a lot of officers that have come under the doing police work with body cameras and everything else. They're watched very closely.
What about
these officers are good officers.
What about
and they're doing a good job.
What jumps out besides that?
Manpower.
Yep, got to get manpower.
All of these things, everything we discussed has an impact on manpower and has an impact on the police officers' ability to do their jobs.
Yep.
But I can tell you right now, the men and women of the police department are doing their jobs in a constitutional manner. It's just that in doing so, in the way they're treated, they're going to make that decision. Do they put themselves out there to do that?
No, Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Eric Hessler.
Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
It is a special occasion. No, not what LSU did last night, winning college baseball's national championship. We're going back 40 plus years. It's the famous Who Shot JR episode from the hit TV series from the 80s, Dallas. The full original episode for 1 hour coming your way next. Stick around. Oh, wait, it's not Dallas, it's New Orleans. By golly, Drew Brees is right. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. 5 o'clock power hour on a Tuesday afternoon. Hydrate, lots of water, agua. Drink up, because it's a hot one. 97 degrees, feels like 108. 97 degrees, feels like... Get some water in the system. Yesterday, we talked about the payroll fraud with no repercussions. This Bear guy. The secret sex room at the Sewerage and Water Board. Gaston Corban's going to join us tomorrow, the executive director of the Sewerage and Water Board. Speaking of hydration proclamation, Gaston Corban tomorrow. Yeah, the Sewage and Water Board, this scandal, the latest and greatest. This Bear guy's a trip. Just doesn't work, gets paid, sues for back pay. He gets the back pay reinstated, promoted. Just such corruption and acceptance of that corruption in New Orleans city government. And then there's so many on the payroll that just simply don't do anything. They're just fakers. They're charlatans. They just show up. They're almost just as bad. I mean, the criminal, a little more proactive, overt. He's physically stealing something outside of the purview of his job. But someone that shows up year in, year out, decade in, decade out, seeks promotion, looking to stick his nose up the rear end of certain politicians to get a higher job, a better job, anointed, appointed nonsense, does nothing, ever. Those people are just as guilty. They're stealing. They're playing some mind game like, hey, the city, hired me. There are other people involved. It's not just me. Yeah, but when you're fooling them and everybody knows the game's a joke and wink, wink, look the other way, it's New Orleans city government, it's dysfunctional. You can either be part of the solution, try to fix it and work, or you can be part of the problem, the dysfunction, and do nothing. So many choose to be part of the dysfunction. I'd say they're very similar to the Bear guy who was stealing. You're going to work for a public entity. You're not producing anything, but you can skirt by because there aren't things in place that, see your productivity, judge your productivity, see if you're bringing in any money for the company. Anyway, this payroll fraud, at the Sewage and Water Board, the secret sex room at the Sewage and Water Board. When I was a kid, I remember the trucks with it's almost like a bed in the truck. It was like this little thin mat. I'd never forget, I'd drive around as a child and I'd see the Sewage and Water Board crews working. And I mean, as a child, I always was like, why is the white dude in the clean outfit and why are all the black guys digging the hole? Why is the white guy the boss? Why are all the black guys working for the white dude? That was one thing as a child I was sort of wondering about, asking my parents about. And then the sleeping in the truck, these little mats, anyone over 50 or 60 in New Orleans remembers this. Sewage and Water Board, like 3-4 guys stacked on top of each other, sleeping in the truck. It's like, man, we dug a hole for 2 hours. We're taking a nap. It's lunch, still got 15 minutes, taking a nap, laying down. It's tiring work. The OPCD executive director, Tyrell Morris, this story just doesn't end. This is the guy that refused to give the Office of Inspector General information the office legally can request and is expected to receive. Fought it where it went to court, appealed the court ruling, not once but twice, cost the city a lot of money for no reason. The mayor, the council should have stepped up, demanded that this appointed, anointed hack give over the information that the Office of Inspector General is requesting. Instead, it cost the city of New Orleans maybe 6 figures in legal fees, north of $50,000 in unnecessary legal fees for the Office of Inspector General alone. No, it's this guy, Tyrell Morris. He had an accident on his birthday driving a city-owned vehicle. 911 was called. He canceled the 911 call. No NOPD DWI test. No test by the city. Cassie Sherm of Channel 6 doing a great job looking it up, seeing a sheet stating, standard operating procedure. The operator of a vehicle must take a drug and alcohol test immediately after an accident. Cassie Sherm requests that document from OPCD. They send her an altered document where the important line of if injuries are reported, those 4 key words, if injuries are reported, change the whole thing. If injuries are reported, which they weren't, the operator of the vehicle must take a drug or an alcohol test immediately. No, it's not if there's an injury reported. Any wreck, injuries or not. Altered documents. The council's investigating it. The OIG, according to Channel 6, investigating this. The city council sent a letter to John Thomas, the office or Orleans Parish Communications District chairman of the board, saying, get rid of this guy immediately. He resigned, but it's not effective until September. Wants to pull 2, 3, 4 months, 3 months of salary. Get rid of him immediately. Guy's a cancer. LSU winning the national championship in college baseball. Doing to Florida what the Gators did to the Tigers in game 2. That 24-4 game's forgotten when you win the national championship. And when you win 18-4, you do to Florida almost exactly 24 hits, almost the same amount of runs. LSU, 7th national title. Apparently, LSU, the only school to win a college national championship and one in basketball the same season. What was it, 6-8 weeks ago? Kim Mulkey's Lady Tigers taking home the national championship. LSU, man, just so many contributors on that team. So many stars like Dylan Cruz, like Tommy White, like Paul Skeens, like Thatcher Hurd, Ty Floyd Fever. Some of the other pitchers like Riley Cooper, the chunky lefty, getting it done. Beloso, Dugas, Jobert, Milazzo, Morgan, Thompson, Travinsky. Just a great team effort. Everybody contributing. Jay Johnson saying, doing, pushing all the right buttons. LSU taking 2 out of 3, taking the most important one, the third game last night. They're national champions. Unbelievable. Just ripping the Gators. Almost the exact same game as game 2, just opposite results, opposite teams. LSU, the one taking it to the Gators instead of the Gators taking it to LSU like in game 2. Hey, are you on the Causeway Bridge right now? You want Trey Yen's phone number? Why don't you fire in a big to-go order to bring home? You pick it up right in front, that little half circle, puts you right in front of the restaurant. They walk the order right out to your car. You don't even get out of your curbside delivery. Don't forget the Tong Cho sauce. 626-4476. That 985 area code. 626-4476. Trey Yen.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Best price, best quality, best selection, and so convenient. I'm talking about your Rouse's Market. On the way home from work, you might pass 2 or 3 Rouse's on the way home. Yeah, such convenience, like the latest any of the 60-plus Rouse's stores opens. The latest, 7 a.m., some open earlier, 6:30. The earliest any of those 60-plus Rouse's stores close, 10 p.m. Some stay open till 11, even midnight. Best quality, best price, best selection, and convenience. The local grocery store, Rouse's Markets, got everything you want. I love the Rouse's brands, I got to admit. Super high quality, about half the price. And Rouse's doesn't produce the stuff in some building. They're buying high-quality products from the producers of those products. Like, personally, I've never asked anyone at Rouse's. I think one of their 2 or 3 extra virgin olive oils with the Rouse's label is like Cola Vita. I've poured them both on a plate, same color, same texture, thickness, flavor, everything. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon, a hot one. 97 degrees, feels like 108. Totally, we're not going for the walk tonight till about 7:45, 8 p.m. You know, it's so weird. There's this sweet spot. I guess it's like where the sun's about to go down. It's about to drop off the horizon. I don't know. The breeze picks up a little bit. The sun's out of the sky almost completely. If you're in any neighborhood with anything, you know, if you're not on some flat area, you don't see the sun. You're not out by the lake. It's blocked out by houses, trees, whatever. So I guess you're kind of, it's shady. It gets a little breezy. And then I swear, sun drops out the sky. Night comes rolling in. It's an hour later. It's, say, 9:15. It's nighttime. It's dark. There's no breeze, and it's just stifling hot and high humidity, almost like you're sweating. Yet, when it was daylight still, the sun was setting, it kind of a little breeze and kind of comfortable and not sweating walking the dog. So I try to find that sweet spot. It's recently been falling around 7:30, 7:45-ish. Maybe 8, a little before 8. No, it's hot as hell out there. 97 degrees, feels like 108. Every day. Podcast Laliberto, River City's Total Maintenance Studios, a name you should know, River City's Total Maintenance. They've been at it over 40 years in South Louisiana with a sterling reputation, great reputation with the Better Business Bureau, other entities like that matter. Sterling reputation. They're loved. Folks that use them have been with them for years, even decades, like me. Fair and honest Lucas and the boys. That's the important part. I don't know about you. I don't want to learn about air conditioning. I just want an air conditioning guy I can unequivocally trust that is incapable of ripping me off, will never do any service or repair or replacement that is not absolutely necessary. You get that with Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys at River City's Total Maintenance. They come quickly, too. They know if your AC's not working, you're uncomfortable. Honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. NOLAAC.com is all you need to know. If you don't want to remember River City's Total Maintenance, just remember their easier to remember website, NOLAAC.com. They are New Orleans' air conditioning outfit. They'll get you cool again quickly right now. NOLAAC.com. No, it's important to have an ace in the hole, especially in summertime New Orleans with AC. No playing around. It's 97 degrees. Feels like 108. Got to have that AC working right. NOLAAC.com. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, hydrate. Lots of water. We're issuing a hydration proclamation on the program. Wow, Todd Graves, Raising Cane's. 600 plus locations. None in Manhattan, none in New York. Manhattan, just Manhattan. One of the 5 boroughs. Manhattan has about 80 McDonald's. 80 McDonald's. In the 5 boroughs, Manhattan and the other 4 boroughs, there's about 250 McDonald's. So New York City, about 250 McDonald's. Not one Raising Cane's. Well, now there's one. Times Square, I think 44th, something like that, and Broadway. A Raising Cane's has opened in New York City, in Manhattan. The first of 25 planned. You should see the big Texas toast sofa with the crinkle cut fries for legs to the sofa. The coffee table in this little lounge area in the restaurant, right in the window in Manhattan, right on the street. It's like a big dipping sauce. The Cane's dipping sauce is the coffee table. You got to look at the photos. Check it out online, social media, and the like. Or maybe don't. Todd Graves, 600 plus Raising Cane's, including the latest and greatest, Times Square, Manhattan, the first of 25. Just going to kill it in New York. I used to go to a place, there were about 25 of these in Manhattan. I don't know if they're still there. Chirpin' Chicken. Chirpin' Chicken. Chirpin' Chicken was pretty good. It was like a Pasuedo, I think it's pronounced. It was like a pseudo fast food joint in New York, local. Chirpin' Chicken. Pretty good stuff. How about last night, speaking of good stuff? You not only win the game, 4-3 national champs would have been great. But doing to Florida exactly, almost to the T, what Florida did to LSU in game 2, it just sort of, eases things. Wow, anything like that can happen. It's baseball. It's a quirky sport. The important thing is it was down to a 1-game series, and after getting thrashed 24-4 in game 2, LSU comes back, bounces back, flushes that thought, and slaps an 18-4 loss on the Gators. 18-4. LSU last night beating Florida, 7th national championship. Boy, Dylan Cruz just cruising around the bases. Just unbelievable. Just the speed of this guy. And just what he did last night. A couple of great hits, his final 2 at-bats. Dramatic stuff. Just adding to the lead. No, just a great team. Great coaching with Jay Johnson, pushing all the right buttons. Number 1 all season long. About 2 months left in the season, they relinquished that spot. Starts showing some vulnerability. Relief pitching staff, big question marks, injuries taking their toll. Maybe they were the most talented team. Maybe they were the best pitching team in America, but not enough depth to go the distance to make it to Omaha, to maybe make it to Omaha, but not go deep in Omaha. No, right when the end of the season's rolling in, they take it up a notch. Kind of get back to original season form when they were number one. Take care of what? Kentucky in that regional or the super regional. Take care of the regional. Take care of Kentucky in the super regional. Get to Omaha, Tennessee, Wake Forest, no problems. Florida, no problem. National champs. Apparently, LSU is the only school to win a basketball national championship, either sport, men or women's hoops, and a baseball national championship. Only school to do it. Yeah, so many contributors, so many stars. That was a fun week and a half, huh, Tiger fans? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Are you kidding? Just 7 games in 8 days, including the national championship. Second-year coach Kim Mulkey, national title. Second-year coach Jay Johnson, national title. Brian Kelly going into his second year. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning going into their 84th year. Since 1940, before World War II, Young's Dry Cleaning, taking care of dry cleaning for your great-great-great-grandparents. A New Orleans institution, walk-up locations, free pickup and delivery, manless locker locations. To find out about the best dry cleaner, youngsdrycleaning.com. youngsdrycleaning.com. It's a hot one out there. Stay hydrated. Lots of water, lots of H2O. 97 feels like 108. That's just crazy. Speaking of crazy, we talked about it yesterday, the Sewage and Water Board with this payroll fraud, this secret sex room. Ghassan Corbin's going to join us tomorrow. Executive Director, Sewage and Water Board, 420. Be there tomorrow afternoon in the 4 o'clock hour for that. This Bear guy for the Sewage and Water Board just faking timesheets, pulling, like, you remember Colonel Davis of the school board? There's just no one in military. There's a pride when you're in the military. Do you notice that? Military folks don't reference their rank. They don't talk about military stories. Definitely if they were in battle, they never bring it up. There's just this honor, this pride. Colonel Davis kept his title. Colonel Davis, after he was a civilian wearing civilian clothes. Sure, a lot of more legitimate military folks didn't like that too much. It's just not done. Sort of trying to, hey, I'm a lightweight, but the colonel thing makes me more legit. Anyway, I'll never forget Colonel Davis's dad. His father was a janitor. His dad was like, I think Colonel Davis was like 50-something. His dad was like 70-something. Was like a janitor at a school for the Orleans public school system. Pre-Katrina, obviously. Colonel Davis's dad, the janitor. He was pulling, like, this is 30 years ago, 70-something thousand a year. When they pulled up timesheets, it was nothing odd about it. Just working like 9 days a week, working 35 hours a day, stuff like that. Working 40 hours, 40 days a month, working 400 days a year, just stuff like that. Just impossible stuff. Square peg doesn't fit in round hole. This Bear guy with the Sewage and Water Board doing the same crap. Not working, punching in, taking, sick leave, gets caught. What's the Sewage and Water Board do? I mean, get the authorities involved. Get the guy arrested. Send him to jail. Send out a message. Instead, the opposite. He gets back pay, reinstated, gets promoted a few times. It's like Irvin Mayfield. Steal from the library system, serve 8 months at a country club prison, 3 months in a halfway house. I've asked this question, and I'm telling you, it isn't like 1 out of 10. It would be a large percentage of the population. You go check out the Eglin Air Force Base prison, and I say that with quotes because you can walk right out. It's a country club prison. It's easy time. Tennis courts, golf course. It's a joke. Prisoners fly in like crawfish, lobster, steaks. They barbecue for the guards. It's easy time at Eglin. I mean, if you got it, no one wants to go to jail. I don't want to be restricted to English Turn Country Club. I want my freedom. Do what I want when I want. But it's country club jail. You're going to Eglin Air Force Base in Pensacola for, right outside Pensacola, Fort Walton, for 8 months. And then you come out and you go to a halfway house in New Orleans for 3 months, and you keep $1.3 million because your restitution is $500 a month for the rest of your life. That's $6,000 a year. That's $60,000 every decade. That would be a century to get back 600,000. He stole 1.3 million. It would take Irvin Mayfield Jr. over 200 years to pay back the 1.3 million. So crime pays. White collar crime pays. Ask Irvin Mayfield and his $1.3 million. And he stole more than that. Only a fool would think otherwise. This is just what he got caught on. Only a fool would think otherwise. No, and this Hebert guy, just criminal. Fake timesheets, stealing from the Sewage and Water Board. He gets the back pay reinstated and gets promoted a few more times. Same thing with the folks stealing the brass. No one gets fired. I mean, I swear you have to murder or rape someone if you're a city employee in New Orleans for you to get fired and for civil service to back that firing. It's a joke. Literally murder or rape. This Hebert guy should be prosecuted, should be in jail. And then we know the blue-collar crime pays. 701 releases, magistrates and judges. I was talking with Eric Hessler, the PANO attorney, last hour about that. Can you talk with those magistrates and judges? Police doing such a tough job arresting violent criminals, and then the bail is set so low? These hack criminals bond out. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, you right. This program every day on radio, on television, live on YouTube. Corey Johnson Neutral Ground on YouTube. Click to subscribe. Doesn't cost a thing. CoreyTalks.com live streaming. It's brought to you every day by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. The Lamarck Automotive Complex. For nearly 50 years, the big store, Lamarck Ford, Lamarck Lincoln, #1 in the state. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford, under the Lamarck umbrella. Crescent City Ford, the legendary truck and SUV dealership on Jefferson Highway. By the lake, the Lamarck Automotive Complex. By the river, Crescent City Ford. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now, Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed Eric Hessler, PANO attorney, talking about a whole lot of stuff, including Vappie, PIB, consent decree. Even brought up this Tyrell Morris guy, the OPCD executive director, because he called 911. Police were called, or at least I should say 911 dispatchers, and then had the wherewithal, the authority to cancel that 911 call. No DWI test, no test by the city. The operator of a vehicle must take a drug and alcohol test immediately if there is an accident or a wreck. Standard operating procedure. Cassie Sherm from Channel 6 requested that document, which she saw. They sent the document with 4 keywords added to that line I just read. If injuries are reported, the operator of the vehicle must take a drug and alcohol test immediately. No, the operator of the vehicle must take a drug and alcohol test immediately when there's a wreck. Injuries or not. So Tyrell Morris circumvented that. The council found out. He has resigned. The council now wrote a letter signed by Helena Moreno and J.P. Morrell to John Thomas, the Orleans Parish Communications District chairman of the board, saying, get rid of Tyrell Morris now. He resigned, but it's not effective until mid-September. Get rid of this cancer now. Tomorrow, Ghassan Corbin from the Sewage and Water Board at 4:20, talking about this Sewage and Water Board payroll fraud and secret sex room situation. LSU national champs tomorrow at Bertman Box. They'll have a big party tomorrow at 7:30, Alex Box, Bertman Field at Alex Box Stadium. Celebration of the title. That's tomorrow at 7:30 up in Tyga Town. Hey, they're open till 9:30 tonight. Lebanon's Cafe on Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. Lamb chop shish kebab. Boy, is this shish kebab good. Pick shish kebab, shrimp, beef, chicken, lamb. Pick one of the 4 or a combo, 2 of the 4 together. Shrimp, beef, chicken, or lamb shish kebab with 2 Middle Eastern sides. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. In 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. Women are often throwing clothing items at me saying you're the possessor of the cool factor. I have to fight off the ladies.
90 minutes of fun every weekday afternoon on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333 from 4 p.m. to 5:30.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. Then we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Cade Beloso, Gavin Dugas, Braden Joubert, Alex Malazzo, Trey Morgan, Jordan Thompson, Josh Pearson, Hayden Travinsky. Was it Nate Ackenhausen? Typhoid fever. Riley Cooper. Guidry. Gavin Guidry. Thatcher Hurd. Paul Skeens. Tommy White. Dylan Cruz. My God. LSU national champions of college baseball, Jay Johnson, great recruiting classes, using the transfer portal like a champ. I wish LSU academically did what they do athletically, because athletically, LSU is a powerhouse, a buzzsaw, as good as it gets anywhere. As good as it gets. Facilities, fans, coaches, teams, wins, players, everything. As good as it gets. State of the art. Everything. Brand new, state of the art, redone, rebuilt. A winner, a champion. I love it. I just wish there was just half of this focus on academics. Like we strive to make academics great, like athletics. Well, I don't know why we can't do it, why we don't want to do it. I know athletics are a lot more exciting. Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, much more exciting than the chemistry lab. I get it. Boy, last night was fantastic. 7th national title. Besides winning the national title, like I said earlier, LSU doing to Florida what Florida did to LSU in game 2, that 24-4 game. LSU wins the national title last night, 18-4. Basically the same blowout win, almost the exact same way too. Trailing early, then just ripping them the whole way. Florida having nothing going right, LSU having everything going right. Florida gets a meaningless home run at the end to get to 4 runs total, just like LSU. 18-4, 24 hits. LSU national champions. Nice. Hey, tomorrow, Sewage and Water Board Executive Director Gosson Corbin's going to join us around 4:20. That's tomorrow. We'll discuss the payroll fraud and secret sex room. This Hebert guy and many others apparently just stealing from taxpayers, stealing from the Sewage and Water Board. Could you imagine? I mean, it's 2023. Besides just like video cameras and, money transfers and all this stuff. Just technology in general. To stay on top of folks, to make sure things are being done right, to make sure there is no theft or fraud, or at least to be on top of it, seems like it would just be painfully easy in 2023. It's like the fuel card abuse, the take-home vehicle abuse in the city of New Orleans. How hard would it be to GPS the cars? They're probably already GPS to track that. Fuel cards, PIN numbers actually used, tracking fuel usage. Does it match the mileage? Blah, 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 blah. It's 2023. The city allows this to happen. It's almost like a wink, wink, look the other way. It's kind of one of the perks because we don't pay you so well. I don't know what it is. It's dysfunction in a huge way, and no one benefits except those few. Yeah, tomorrow at 4:20, Gosson Corbin from the Sewage and Water Board will join us to discuss this and more. Should be a good one. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour today, Eric Hessler, attorney for PANO, joined us on the program discussing Vappie, PIB, consent decree. You can always check that out on YouTube right now if you want. Eric Hessler, last hour, 4:20. Made some interesting comments, I'll tell you that. Like, how many actual cops are there? He says 872, 878, something like that. There's 870-something cops. Under 900, under 890, under 880, under 880 NOPD, according to Eric Hessler, attorney for PANO. 878-something cops. He was a cop for 17 years. He's been an attorney for PANO for 22. He said when he was a cop, there were 1,500 cops, roughly 1,400 cops. He says there's 872, 878, somewhere around that number of NOPD. He says of the 872, 878, maybe only 750 are working cops. So you got 750 working cops. Of those, some are in administrative positions. He says you might have 200 to 300 cops patrolling. Patrolling cops, 200 to 300. Should be more like 500 to 600. Instead of 750 working cops, should be around 1,500. The numbers of the NOPD are literally at like half. Literally half. 750 working cops should be 1,500. 200 to 300 patrolling cops should be 500 to 600. 870-something police now working in the NOPD. Unbelievable. Corey Johnson with you. Fausto's Italian Bistro's with you on Vets right now. They opened at 5. They'll roll till 9 p.m. tonight. What are you waiting for? Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian tonight for dinner. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our Top Bench and More exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations. Make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
Being a part of people's lives from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Kind of a bummer, huh? 7 of the last 8 days, LSU baseball. 6 of the last 8 nights, first pitch about 7, 8, 9 minutes away. 6 of the last 8 nights. Boy, but what a great ending last night. LSU picking up their 7th national championship. It was almost perfect. Like I said earlier, not trying to be redundant, but 4-3, 1-zip. You take any of that for the national title. But winning 18-4 and sort of doing to the Florida Gators what they did to LSU just a day earlier, game 2 of this thing, just really makes it complete. Almost perfect. And what a great team. Just TEAM, tight team, all together. Lots of players with passion, commitment, contributing. It was fantastic. This guy loved it. Blue Boy, you were helping assist, huh? Rooting for the Tigers. What's that, buddy? Ghassan Korba Namaro from the Sewage and Water Board to talk about payroll fraud and the secret sex room. That scares you? It should, Blue Boy. You're smart. Mañana, be there.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.